All right, we're going to start with Larry Arata. You're up.
Thank you. My name is Larry Arata. I was born and raised in Delaware County, Haverford High School. And I was an all-Delco football player and an all-Ivy center on their football team. And I entered a field of software sales and spent 20 years selling software, application software and services, and did fairly well. But I always wanted to teach. And about 15 years ago, my mom had found out she had stage 4 cancer, and she said, if that's what you always wanted to do, you always wanted to teach, you always thought that's what God wanted to do, you should do it, because none of us is guaranteed tomorrow. So being a good Irish mama's boy, I listened to my mom, and I had a talk with my wife about how we could take a $100,000 pay cut and become a public school teacher in Philadelphia. And I chose to teach in Philadelphia because I was very privileged growing up in Haverford. We had everything that we needed, and I didn't think it was fair that some of the kids that I was mentoring through my church didn't have everything they needed in Philadelphia. So I've had a wonderful career teaching history and English and coaching football and wrestling in the inner city in Philadelphia. 3 months ago, my son died of a heroin overdose. And it was devastating to our family, and we're still hurting, of course. But 2 months ago, my wife and I started a group, the Opioid Crisis Action Network, to lobby institutions that could have a positive influence to this crisis and hopefully solve it and save some lives and prevent some suffering. And we've talked to a lot of great people that want to help, and we've got a lot of information, but frankly we think that the issue's getting lip service, and so I decided to run for Congress to bring some light to this issue. And so win or lose, I'm going to continue to work to solve this opioid crisis, the largest public health crisis in the history of our nation.
Okay, Larry, should Congress, Al, you'll like this one. Should Congress take a position on fracking?
Absolutely. I'm going to stretch my legs a little bit, stand up. Yes, there's ample evidence that fracking is destroying the water supply in many of our rural counties in Pennsylvania, where fracking has lacked regulation. So I think it's time that science be considered a real thing by Washington, D.C., and that scientists, their words be heeded, and that we listen, and that we are transparent. The companies have been given exceptions to providing the chemicals they're using, as if it's some secret formula that they don't have to disclose to us to break up those rocks. So they are dangerous chemicals that are being used. They are destroying the water system. They're totally undertaxed in Pennsylvania, and yes, Congress should take action on the fracking industry.
All right, Larry, George mentioned the scam going on in Delaware County at the prison. What are your thoughts on privatization of prisons?
They shouldn't be run by private companies. It's a public responsibility to ensure that the civil rights of prisoners is not violated. If you give it to a private organization, they're motivated by profit. And so that puts a profit mode ahead of all the things that we need to accomplish in a prison. We used to talk about rehabilitation. Prisoners aren't getting good health care. We have 2 million people in prison in this democracy. China has 4 times our population, and they don't have anywhere near 2 million people, as close as we can tell, in their prison system. And we're a democracy and they're a communist dictatorship. More than half of our 2 million prisoners are there because of the failed war on drugs. And we don't even treat our prisoners, in most of our prisons, for drug addiction or for their drug dependencies. So we're doing a terrible job protecting our society and with our prisons. We're doing a terrible job educating our prisoners, providing them with education. We give them something to rebound their lives with and rebuild their lives with, and protect us from the tremendous rates of recidivism that our nation suffers from.
Thank you. All right, at this point in time, what I'd like to do is I'd like to give 2-minute closing to each candidate. Okay? You're up, Larry.
Like I said before, I'm a lifelong resident of Haverford Township, Delaware County. My whole adult life, I've been involved in the community. I've been involved in grassroots environmentalism. When they were going to put up an ash dump in my township, I fought against it. I organized other residents to fight against it. We spoke at the DER meeting and they denied that permit. When they were going to put up this horrible incinerator in Chester, myself and other environmentalists fought against that incinerator, and when we lost that battle, we made sure that they didn't burn toxics in we have a household hazardous waste collection program in Delaware County. I've been involved in speaking at county council meetings ever since the 80s and the 90s when they had a put-to-pay clause in that contract with Westinghouse. I campaigned against that, and eventually they listened and they saved the county taxpayers millions of dollars. When we had corrupt officials in Haverford Township, I called for the resignation. So I've been involved in good government issues and environmental issues my whole adult life. Obviously, I'm the only union member on this great committee of candidates. I believe in the union movement. I'm a union teacher. I care about public school education funding, and I am committed to solving this opioid crisis. Rich mentioned lessening the supply through working with doctors so that they're not overprescribed. That's part of the cause of the problem. But the solution is to make sure everyone is treated. We have a lot of people that come to get treatment and they're turned away. There are not enough beds, and the insurance companies refuse to pay. Through relationships that I have in my activism, I was able to gain access to the very top of Independence Blue Cross today, and I met with them, and I called them out on that. I said, if people are being refused treatment because they're quote-unquote not truly at risk because they don't have heroin in their bloodstream. My son was turned away because he didn't have heroin in his bloodstream, but he feared for his life. That's like saying to my mom, I'm not going to treat your cancer until it spreads to your liver. But that's how we're treating the mentally ill in this country. That's how we're treating the addicted, and it's got to stop.